Welcome back, everybody. As you can see, we're not in the shed tonight, so I'm printing something in there and it's quite loud. It's a vase for the missus and it's taken a while to print, so we're coming here because the mic will pick it up and it's a bit of an irritating noise. 40th video, believe it or not. Number 40.
Yeah, I can't believe it actually. Yeah, don't seem to have done that many, but
no, I know. Yeah, so keep the likes, comments, and views coming. And apologies if apparently I'm getting complaints that the notifications are waking people up when we put it up so late. So hopefully this will go up about 1 or 2 in the morning and wake the lot of you up. But yeah, I suppose we'll get stuck straight in. And just a little bit of a warning tonight.
Yeah, it's a little bit of extreme content in some of these, but I think that you'll find that it's it's quite still quite enjoyable, still quite enjoyable. So I just got to do this before we start. A quick slurp, just to get the clear the dust out of the throats.
Yeah, he certainly cleared the dust out of his throat with some of these videos tonight. Trust me.
So, do we want to start with one of your colleagues was saying about the Devils?
Yeah, Graham. Yeah, he asked about that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't actually have the video or the DVD of the Devils.
Well, you've built it up now, and you ain't got it.
Yeah, unfortunately, but I have got other Devils stuff. Now, this magazine, this was a magazine that came free with Sight and Sound magazine, because there was a season of things on TV. It's on the back, BBC Two Forbidden Weekend, so they showed like a lot of stuff which you couldn't see. So this was a magazine which came free with Sight and Sound. I've got this, and
Malcolm McDowell on the front.
Yeah, it's got a Malcolm McDowell Clockwork Orange there. But this is the article on the Devils, and that's like the middle page article if you want to hold it up there. And it's basically just like telling you about the when it came out. The censors, they cut so much of it that Ken Russell was outraged, and I think he was going to pull the film because there was loads taken out of it.
So I suppose it made the film pretty pointless, so he didn't bother releasing it.
That's why he wanted to do it. But I mean, this makes me laugh because you see Oliver Reed there, and the guy who's doing the I don't know what they were, these two guys, like some sort of
experiment, isn't it? Yeah.
That's Brian Murphy from George and Mildred.
Oh. Hardly the scariest fella in the world,
I know,
is he?
Yeah, and he was in that. I remember he was in it, and I remember thinking, blimey, that's George Roper there, But there was a lot of scenes that were cut. Now this is another book which I've had this book a long time. It's like I got it in Walthamstow. It's called The Unseen Cinema, and there's a couple. That's the bit there with the Devils. As you can see, these are the scenes that were cut out, and most of them were involving nuns. Some of the scenes with the nuns were a bit extreme.
I'll just do it quickly. If you want to watch it, you can pause it.
It's just looking out to shock as many people as he could, really. But I mean, one of the most shocking bits of the film is at the end where Oliver Reed is like burnt. He's burnt at a stake, and they've shaved his head. That's it. Yeah, and it's horrible, really graphic, But something that I wanted to say about this film. Was that back in the 80s, must have been about 85, 86, they were showing it. But we used to go, me and Paul, Dave and Barry used to go and see this band called the Faith Brothers. We used to follow them around London.
Right.
They were like a bit like a Faith Brothers. They were kind of like a bit like the Style Council and Paul Weller, that sort of stuff. And one night they were doing a gig at this place called the Electric Cinema in Portobello Road or somewhere like that, around that area. And after they'd been on stage, they were going to be showing the Devils as a late, midnight showing.
Right.
So we went to see the gig and that, it was a good gig and that. When the band left the stage, we just sort of settled back into these, because it's an old cinema, I think it's still there. And we watched it. We watched the Devils on widescreen in the pictures,
Yeah.
And it was great to see it, And,
but shocking as well, I suppose, for its time.
It was, and I think we saw it, and I think it had been unedited or cut, so we saw the full thing, But just good to see it on the big screen. And one thing I do remember about it when I was sitting there watching it after seeing George Roper come on was that one of the nuns in it who get their kit off was the girl from Crossroads who used to work in the garage in Crossroads. She was an actress, you'd remember her, but I can't think of her name now, but she used to work in the garage, like, you know.
Well, what we do is, if Gary reminds me when we edit the film, I'll put a name across the top if we will look her up, and then we'll find out who it was.
We can find out.
It's going to annoy us otherwise.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. But so
that's
it was
a good book.
It was a good film, and I mean that is a good book. That I mean that's there's a lot of like sort of, you know, pretty graphic scenes in it, but it's basically just films that have been cut over the years, and
pretty much what he's trying to say is every single page is filth by the looks of it.
Yeah, basically. But I think it's quite a rare book, you know. It's definitely from the 70s.
Yeah.
But so The Devils, it was a good film, and if I ever saw it, I'd get it, because I mean you can get it. I think it's on British Film BFI.
Looks to me like a Hollywood version of Fiesta magazine. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So to be honest, it's not gone downhill tonight. It's actually in the gutter, isn't it, tonight?
Well,
some of the stuff you bought.
In the gutter, yeah, basically.
So apologies, any young viewers, leave the room now.
The only Ken Russell film that I've actually got on video, and I know that you've got Whore.
Thought I recognised it.
In the Loft, which is a Ken Russell film.
Yeah.
This is another Ken Russell film called Crimes of Passion.
Yeah, but I recognise the cover from somewhere, and I don't know why.
I mean, maybe you've got that as well. Actually, you might have that as well.
Yeah, I might have, you know.
Because I know that he made the one Whore with Teresa Russell.
Yeah, and similar, innit?
This is Kathleen Turner and Anthony Perkins, and I mean, I've only watched it a couple of times, but I remember thinking it was quite good, like, you know.
On the Orion label as well, by the looks of it. Yeah, brilliant.
She plays like a businesswoman by day and like a hooker by night, you know. So
that's brilliant.
That's it.
Good film though.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah. I mean, Anthony Perkins is in it, and he's nutty as ever.
I've always liked him though. He's good, isn't he?
I mean, I think you've got another Anthony Perkins one called Edge of Sanity, on one of those Palace Horror.
I have, yeah.
That's quite good. I mean, I watched all the Psycho films, but the one that was on the other night on TV, Psycho 3, was pushing it a bit too far, you know.
Yeah.
But the second one was good. Right, so now the next bit I'm going to talk about is the back in 1986 on Channel 4, the notorious Red Triangle season.
Yeah.
And this was the first. This is the first one.
Here we go. Yeah.
Which is the
Peugeot, isn't it?
The infamous. I mean, I thought it was just Pixo.
Horrible looking face.
Oh yeah. But it's really weird because the picture on the front, that is the actual kid who played the part in the film of what they say Peugeot, but I say it was Pixo, but it's Peugeot, you know. And in real life, he actually got killed in real life, because after that film came out, he tried to make it as an actor, but then living in the environment they live in Rio and Sao Paulo, he just ended up drifting back into crime. And then he got shot. He got shot in a sort of some sort of bank job or bank robbery. It looks
pretty good, this.
But I mean, it is a good film. I mean, I remember when I first saw it, because the first time I even saw that was when I used to go to work up in Piccadilly, and I used to see the film poster on the Underground, and I used to think, I wonder what that's about. And then all of a sudden one night when the Channel 4 Red Triangle season started, they started showing these obscure extreme films, and I saw it, and I had it on tape. I taped it off the TV on the old Betamax, you know.
It's on a Palace Classic,
yeah. And then they started, and then Palace Classic started. But as far as I know, that's never come out on DVD. Even to this day, it hasn't come out. If it did come out, I'd get it, because I'd like to see it in its entirety, because this is the video version. I think it might have been cut, you know. And
that one there, that's a female, isn't it?
No, he's a young boy in it.
He's a weird looking boy.
Yeah, he's ever so strange, but I mean, it's quite graphic in places. I mean, it's all set in like a ball stall in I think it's Sao Paulo, and then they break out. They break out the place and just go on a crime spree. And the actress in it is called Marilia Pera.
Right.
And she's been in a couple other films, but I mean, it is a hard hitting film, but it's good, you know. And I mean, like I said to you last time, I taped it, and I used to get him from the pub some nights pissed and put it on again to watch it again.
Yeah.
And my mum would say, "Oh, don't put that on again." The amount of times I've seen that kid sitting around that toilet being ill.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And I'd say, yeah, I'll turn it off in a minute. And then I'd just fall asleep, like, you know.
Yeah.
And she'd have to try and, like, figure out how to turn the video off, you know.
Put her through some rubbish over the years, didn't you?
I mean, she liked films. I mean, she liked actors like Richard Gere and Tom Berenger, people like that, but she didn't like them sorts of things. But I mean, I was just fascinated with it when it came out. I couldn't believe it. It's so real. It's like it's really, because a lot of the people in it as well are the real people from the streets, you know. I mean, he's obviously got together loads of kids in there.
That's why I remember reading about that.
Yeah.
When they said about that, a lot of them live underground.
Yeah,
somewhere
I
or
mean,
something.
they sort of like. I mean, the main characters are obviously probably professional actors, but there's so many people in it that you look at and you think, well, they must be the real.
Yeah, real deal.
They're from the real deal, you know.
Yeah. But there you go, Peugeot.
That's
one
it.
to watch out for.
Yeah. And the next one that was in that I've got here, which was another Red Triangle film, was this one, which is called Temrock. This is an insane film. This is, but the actor, he's been in loads of films over the years. He's a French actor called Michel Piccoli. There's another one with him in here, and he's been in like some good films. I mean, some sort of like, you know, mainstream French movies and that. But he is one of them actors that tends to sort of push the barriers. But this film, there's no dialogue in it. All the way through, they just grunt and make noises. And basically, he comes home from working in the factory and decides to just smash a hole in the wall of his apartment in Paris. You know,
I remember it. I've seen it.
You've seen it?
It's a Red Triangle film as well. I remember
definitely
that one.
Red Triangle. Yeah,
It's similar to the one where the bloke's stuck in the phone box.
yeah,
Remember that one?
yeah. That's it.
Where he can't get out all the way through, and at the end you see him go on the motorway
Yeah,
in the phone box,
screaming in,
and then another one passes him the other way, like another bloke from another area,
it's
like
obscure, like, you know.
Yeah, that's exactly
They were the sort
it,
of things that. I mean, there was one on one night called The Clinic. It was an Australian film about a VD clinic, but it wasn't really any good. It was just like a little drama, really. But I suppose it was because of the subject matter. But most of the ones they put on that Red Triangle thing, they were quite the sort of thing you couldn't watch. I mean, maybe you could watch them now because films have moved on and some things are more graphic, you know. But I mean, there was scenes in that I mean, me and my mate Dave watched it one night, and we knew the scenes off by heart without even being any dialogue, you know.
I mean, this is a little excerpt from it. It says, when the demeaning repetition gets too much, I assume they're talking about breaking that wall up and working.
Yeah.
Temrock rebels cause havoc at work, destroying his apartment, turning to incest and cannibalism.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't do things by half, do you?
But once again, I mean, it's not. I mean, what you see is not really like, you know, over the top. It's just, I suppose, I don't know. It's just
the nature of it.
Just the nature of it. Yeah.
I could imagine.
I mean, look, it's only 15. It's rated 15.
Well, you're laughing then, aren't you?
You know, but it's comedy really in most parts of it. I mean, he starts smashing this wall and he's breaking the wall in, and then he's going somewhere else to get bricks or he gets something to wall it up or do something, and you know, it's just the characters in it, and a lot of the characters are all the same people playing different people and that, but it is good. It's, you know, it's one of them films that I always remembered, you know. And the director, what's the director's name? Feraldo or something?
Claude Feraldo.
Yeah. I don't think he made that many films, actually. He only made a couple. But it was just typical of that sort of stuff from that era, like early 70s French things, you know, which are a bit sort of like, wouldn't get shown in mainstream cinemas. It'd probably be shown in like the Curzon in the West End or something.
But the Red Triangle films were like late 80s, early 90s, I should imagine, weren't they?
It was. I mean, I can remember it was about 1986 they were showing them.
Yeah.
And
is that when it was? Like
86 or it was before I worked at BT's, when I worked in that hotel. But those were two of them, and there was a couple of Japanese ones, and there was another one called Montenegro, which was meant to be about.
I remember that.
Montenegro.
That one as well, yeah.
Yeah, it's about an actress who this actress was having like having loads of like flings and that with like Swedish truck drivers or something. But I mean,
But that one, is he not like the side of the house down?
yeah, he just
You see outside and that.
yeah, he just starts smashing the wall in,
that.
and he's like all his neighbours in the like courtyard are looking and wondering what's going on, and his mum in it. He bricks the wall up so his mum can't come in, and she's like keeps like choking all the time and making this noise and that, you know.
Brilliant.
But it's just that all the way through he never speaks. He just grunts all the time.
Right.
You know?
That sounds good though.
Yeah.
I'll have to have a look at that.
Yeah. Right. The next one is him again. Actually, same actor. This is called Le Grand Bouffe,
Okay.
and it's called Blowout.
Should be a laugh getting the covers for these tonight, isn't it? There you go.
And that's him again. That Michel Piccoli, but also there's a famous guy called Marcello Mastroianni in there. He was a famous Italian actor, Marcello Mastroianni.
Marlon Brando, yeah.
Yeah, he does look like him there. In fact, he might have been that scene. He might have been like taking him off or something. But this is a story about three like blokes who like they've got money, they're rich, whatever, and they just decide to lock themselves in this mansion and just like eat themselves to death.
Right.
And they have all this food being delivered, and one of them's a master chef and that, and they just basically just blow out to excess, you know. So it's once again it's some. I mean, it's one of them films that you watch it and you think to yourself, I don't know what's going to happen here. What's going on? Where's this leading, like, you know? But it's basically like their idea that they can do what they want, sort of thing, you know. And they just and in the end, it's just I think one of them just explodes or something. I can't remember exactly what happens now. Because like I said, unfortunately, you can't really watch the videos a lot because you know the video's not set up, you know. But I can remember buying it because once again it was in this magazine Blowout. And it was another thing that was banned for a while. Like Mary Whitehouse said it was publicly indecent or something.
Yeah, no, she always used to get involved, didn't she?
But what makes me laugh is that Mary Whitehouse and Lord Longford were probably the most pair of twisted individuals, like, you know. But they was always like slanging other thing off, weren't they?
Well, hopefully
not Mary Whitehouse. That Lord Longford. I remember him, innit?
That's right. Well, hopefully this reaches our European. Well, we are in Europe, but our French.
Well, yeah. Anybody, you know, who likes. I mean, see, most of these films as well are subtitles. So you know, a lot of people don't like subtitles. They can't handle them. Oh, I'm bothered. You know?
I don't mind.
But I don't mind. Yeah. But you know, like I said, they're probably. I mean, I think that these are out on DVD. The Peugeot one, I definitely don't think it's out on DVD. And the director of that just recently died. And he that was his first film, and then he made a film called Kiss of the Spider Woman, which was like another sort of like strange film about Brazil. And then he done a few other films, quite mainstream films, you know.
So a majority of these are all foreign, then. These three here, that isn't it?
Crimes. No, the Ken Russell ones is American, I think, you know. Right,
good stuff.
Yeah. So then there's this one now, this is another crazy thing. This is called the Tin Drum.
Oh dear, what's that?
Yeah, I know. When this film first came out, it came out back in 1979, and I would have been 15, I think, 15, and I used to buy the NME every week, and it got like something like the film of the year in the NME, and I remember looking at it and thinking, this looks so weird. I'm fascinated with it, you know. It looks so weird, but the kid in it was like a young adult, but he looked young, so they cast him as a kid, you know. And basically, the film is set in Nazi Germany at the beginning of the Nazism, and he's a kid that suddenly refuses to grow up.
Right.
And his mum and dad buy him a drum, and he keeps banging this drum all the time, and it's very irritating, you know. But I don't think it's a particularly extreme film. It's just like.
Off the wall, I suppose.
He's off the wall, yeah. And I think because when you see him, you think, oh, blimey, like, you know, he's scary looking, you know.
Really strange looking kid. I mean, you can't really see it on there, but maybe I'll throw a photo up if we can find one. We'll show you close up.
I don't know what he looks
weird
like.
Looking bloke.
Don't know what he looks like now, but I think when that film was made, he was still a young kid, maybe might have been about 14 or 15 or something, but he looked younger than he was, and. and then you started to see him at the end of the film dressed up and that, and you think, well, you know. And I think at the end of the film, he just joins a circus. He just runs off and joins a circus.
Looking like that. It's the only place he'd fit in.
I know, yeah.
It's weird, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's
a strange, haunting experience, doubtful whenever you will see anything more striking or unusual.
Yeah. It definitely is. It definitely is a haunting experience, and it is, like I said, it's one of them films that, you know, I used to see it all the time, like when I used to buy The Enemy and that, you know, and I think it was like possibly got the film of the year.
Yeah,
it's 79 or 99.
79 there, it says, yeah.
Because I mean, that was where I first saw in The Enemy, when I first saw like Blue Collar, the film Blue Collar, and because I was so into the Enemy and buying it every week and reading what was coming, what was going on, what bands were playing, what records were coming out, what films as well. You know, that's probably what influenced me into looking out for these things. Same as this next one. Now, I don't know whether to talk about this one first or this one. I think we'll go with this first, because I watched this the other night. Again, I hadn't seen.
Oh, what a film!
I hadn't seen it.
One of our favourite films.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is the album.
That's the record. Yeah, I've got the DVD indoors, but I like the record sleeve. I like the picture. But
I'm right in thinking it's the only film we ever done, the first and last film we ever done.
Well, that actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's been in anything else. I think he's died now.
Is he?
Yeah, I think he died. But
so natural, isn't he? He is.
Yeah, but I mean, I watched it the other night, and I hadn't watched it in years, and I really enjoyed it. Even though it does look a little bit dated in places, but I really enjoyed it. I thought, it's I remember it being as good as his first time round.
Because I think John Hurt plays a great part in that.
Yeah.
Right weird, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like, you know.
John Hurt plays Max, the English guy, doesn't he? And
Right,
he's like really freaked out. And Randy Quaid is in it. He plays like the American.
Yeah.
And it's just a brilliant, really good film. I really enjoyed watching it again.
I mean, I still get nervous when he's getting off that bus.
Yeah.
About to get on the plane.
Yeah.
And he's got all the drugs. It's about pretty much he's a drug runner.
Yeah.
And I think it's his first time of doing it.
First time he does it,
and he just wants to make some money, and so he goes for it.
And it's hashish, and it's hashish.
That's right.
He smuggles through.
Yeah.
And he, you know,
he ends up in a foreign jail, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And it's like it's beatings and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
What a film! If you've never seen it, this is one to watch.
It is a brilliant film, and I mean, what's good about it is that. There's another actor in it, the actor who plays the cruel prison guard.
Oh yeah, the big guy.
And he's that big fella, and he's been in a lot of other films I've seen him in where he plays similar characters. You know.
Was he in Vengeance?
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah,
I'm sure he was one of the
cops,
cops in it. Yeah.
I think he was in that because he's just that sort of guy. He always plays cops and you know, like sort of like janitors and stuff. Like I think he's been in a couple of horror films and things.
But that is one you should watch.
But what I was going to say was when I was researching this one here, the actor in Midnight Express who plays, there's a guy called Rifki in it, and he's like a sleazy guy in the prison who makes some tea and that and sells some stuff. And do you remember the bit when Brad Davis they take John Hurt away and he realises it's because of him and he beats him up.
Yes.
And he really beats him up badly.
That's right. Yeah.
And that's when he ends up being put into the asylum bit, you know. And the actor was called I think his name's Paolo Bonicelli. Right. Because when you look at him, the actor on there, he looks a bit like Rodney Dangerfield, the comedian. Yeah. I thought that's who it was, but then when I realised it wasn't. It was this guy called Paolo Bonicelli who was in this extremity here.
But that scene there on the top right hand corner, where they haven't seen each other for God knows how long, him and his wife or girlfriend. Yeah. And they've got a glass screen between them. And they sort of have sex, but don't they? But it's not, obviously, because there's a glass screen there, but you can... Yeah. It's quite a good scene, the way they do it, isn't it?
It's emotional, like, you know, because he's in such a bad way, but he remembers her. And he touches the glass, doesn't he? He touches the glass that, you know, got glass
between them. It's almost a bit like when you go to a zoo and like an ape touches, like wants to communicate with you, but he can't. Yeah, and that's exactly what it's like.
It's like as if she's looking at him like as if he's an exhibit, like, you know, 'cause he's in such a state, isn't he? Yeah. And she says to him, she gives him a photograph album, and she says, "You can't rely on them. You've got to get yourself out of here." She gives him this photograph album, and she touches the back of it, and she says something about Franklin's at the back or something. And then when he finally opens the book, there's money in the back, and she's talking about Franklin J. Roosevelt or something
off the notes.
On the notes, yeah, and he's got the money, and that's how he finally gets himself out, doesn't he? But the end scene is like pretty good when he gets out and he's walking out and he with that police uniform on. Don't want to ruin the ending if anyone hasn't seen it.
It's a bit classical in that as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, well, once again, I mean, the music is great because it's all Giorgio Moroder, who's done loads of good themes, you know, Cat People, stuff like that, and it's good music in it as well. It's like goes well with the film, and it says screenplay by Oliver Stone. So didn't know that.
Yeah.
But the actor who's in that, this Bonicelli guy, is in this extremity.
Don't know how I'm going to show this one.
No, can we show that cover or?
I'm not sure if I.
Is there any way we can perhaps put something over?
Well, mate, what can I do?
Cover it over. I mean, it is readily available to buy in the shops, you know. But,
it's called Salo.
Yeah.
Or the 120 Days of Sodom. It gives you a bit of an idea of what's on the bottom section.
Yeah.
But I'll just put that up.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a. It is a bit extreme, must admit. Yeah.
Well, we won't show that.
No. But I mean, basically, once again, it's one of them films that was. I had a book. I'd got a book indoors. I still got it, called Movies of the '60s and Movies of the '70s. And there used to be the odd stills from this movie, and it was like Clockwork Orange. You'd see it and you think, wow, that looks good. That looks different. You know, I'd like to see that. And then the minute you start trying to find these things, and then you find out that they've been banned or that you're not allowed to see them, you want to see them, do you?
Of course you do.
I want to see that.
Some of us.
Yeah.
Some of us who've got no decorum.
Yeah. But so I'd all heard about this film, and the director, Pasolini, the Italian director, he'd made quite a few films before, which had always been a little bit not extreme, but a little bit sort of cultish and on the edge. And he made this film, and made this in 1975. And shortly after it, he was killed. He was murdered, you know. And a lot of people said, oh, you know, because he was gay, like, you know, so they thought perhaps he'd been murdered by someone in something he'd done. But anyway, you know, I think that's probably what it was. But because he was always on the fringes of the political thing and that, because of his films and that,
probably,
you know,
wasn't accepted as it is nowadays.
No,
you know,
there was especially a lot back then. I mean,
a lot of hate back then, wasn't there?
And if you was to see that back then, I think you would be shocked, because there are scenes in it which are shocking, you know. And it's not something that I could watch on a regular basis. I've seen it once now.
So there's a bit of heart in there.
I think I'd have to sort of like, you know, I'd be hard pushed to watch, just be able to sit for it all again, you know.
Yeah, it comforts me a bit. I'll be honest.
But it is. I mean, it is a good film for what it is, you know, and it's based on true events again, I think, because it's about these. It's basically for these rich Italians who are fascists, and it's in the wartime. It's in the 40s. And it's basically it's talking about fascism and how they just round up all these young people in this big castle they're in and just do what they want to do. Like, you know,
a bit like Hostel, I suppose, but not so graphic.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could say it's a similar sort of thing, you know. Similar sort of thing, really. Yeah, it's like the same sort of thing as Hostel. But I mean,
British Film Institute as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, with BFI. They do put some good stuff out, and they do put things out which haven't been readily available for years. And what I like about their stuff as well is that you always get, like, there's always something extra with it, like there's documentaries and trailers and stuff like that, you know. So if ever I see anything by BFI and it's cheap enough, I get it, because they're always quite expensive, you know. Yeah. I mean, I actually got that in a shop in Romford that sells second-hand DVDs, you know, and it wasn't even that expensive, really.
They had that on show in there?
Yeah, they had it on show, yeah.
Couldn't walk past that, could you?
Okay, well, the last one of the night is this one. This is another similar sort of thing, and it's called Salon Kitty, and it's directed by this guy called Tinto Brass. Apologies
for the swastikas.
Yeah. Well, it's basically what it is. The story of Salon Kitty it's a true story. There was one of the Germans was called Heydrich,
Right.
and he was the one that they tried to assassinate.
What, after the war when they tracked him down? Or?
No, it was when he was in the war.
Oh,
He was these partisans in this town. They tried to shoot him, and he went round in his staff car. I've seen documentaries about it. There's a film as well, I think, with Martin Shaw from Professionals.
Okay, yeah.
And they shot him, and he died. I mean, he didn't die straight away, but he died. And of course, once he died, Adolf Hitler went into this little town and like was threatened to kill them all until they gave up the people who'd shot him.
Who's been involved in that? Yeah. Okay.
But this Heydrich, he had a club in Berlin called Salon Kitty, and it was a place where all like rich people would go with prostitutes.
Right.
And he used to film it all. Like he'd have like cameras and
this was true.
This was true, yeah.
Right.
In the basement, he had like German soldiers taping everything, you know. So then they had all this they could bribe them, basically like blackmailing people, you know. So that's what that film's about. But the director, he's called Tinto Brass, and he's made loads of like 70s exploitation films and that. So obviously he's put a little bit of a twist on it, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty good. It's not bad, you know.
It looks good. Yeah, it sounds like a good story as well.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, most of these films, I mean, they show them up. They show them up to be what they are, basically. I mean, you know, the main character in that is an SS officer, but he's got some like serious issues, like, you know. Yeah. And it's like as if they're saying, well, you know, they had issues as it was, so. Yeah.
No, it's a tricky one. Now, I mean, we watched that Boy in Striped Pyjamas the other day.
Yeah.
You know, I know it's not like that, but it's similar like during the war.
Yeah.
And how many people just didn't realise what was going on, like behind the scenes, you know.
That's right. Yeah.
It's unreal.
I mean, there's a film that I've never seen it. I mean, I would have watched it, but my mum could never watch it. Is that Sophie's Choice?
Right. Yeah.
With Meryl Streep.
Yeah.
And there's a bit where she has to choose, didn't she, between her son and her daughter.
That's
or something.
Right, yeah.
My mum just could never watch it, like, you know.
It's horrible.
So I mean, you know, but like I said, you these things come out now, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, I think everyone's always known that it's there, but it's the sort of, what do you call it, taboo subject that people don't want to talk about.
That's right. Yeah.
But no, it's interesting. But going back to Midnight Express. Yeah. That was one of the first films I see, like of that type of sort of calibre, someone being imprisoned somewhere I don't want to be. And it got me thinking, once I'd watched that, I know it's not on the same page, but I watched, what do you call it? Innocent Man.
Oh, yeah.
With
Tom Selleck.
What a film that is.
Yeah.
If you like prison films, that's a good one to watch. I don't know what it is about it.
Yeah,
it's like the thought of it, you know.
It is good, isn't it?
Like getting caught and not doing anything, you know.
Yeah, I know. And the thing is about that as well is that the two actors that stitch him up are cops, aren't they?
That's right, yeah.
And he goes in for a silly thing, a silly sort of like silly crime, isn't it? A misdemeanor.
I think it was two cops that do him for drugs.
Yeah.
And they've planted him on him.
That's
for
right.
some reason they just pick on him. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I think they're covering their own.
Yeah, that's what
their
it is.
own deal or whatever it was. So they try and stitch him up. So you know, it's quite interesting.
Yeah, it was good that. Yeah, and it's funny because like you say, when you see these films about prison, I mean, there was a series that used to be on Channel 4 a few years ago called Oz, American thing.
Right.
And that was, if ever there was an advert to stay out of prison, that was that series.
Yeah.
You know, because it was quite extreme in that, and you think, blimey, like, you know. But yeah, you see these films about prison, didn't you? And you think, oh, bloody, I mean, apart from Innocent Man, what was the other one with Stallone? Was it Lock Up?
Lock Up was great.
Yeah, that was pretty good as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah. But yeah, like you said, that's true. I think probably that was the first film I ever saw, about that sort of thing. And what's worse is that it's in Turkey, isn't it?
Yeah.
In one of them real horrendous prisons, like the Bangkok Hilton.
Don't mess
or something,
around.
You know.
Don't mess around at all. Maybe that's what we should have here.
Yeah.
But
so there you go. That's a little bit of a little selection of European oddities, you know.
Yeah. If you can call it that. But as I said, this is video number 40 now, which is it's quite a feat, isn't it? Really?
Yeah,
I
must admit. I mean, I can remember the very first ones we done, and I can remember thinking to myself, "I'm going to run out of stuff here because I haven't got enough videos to." But number 40 and we're still finding them. So obviously there's still loads to be unearthed. You know what I mean?
There's lots. Yeah, and I was up in the loft the other day again, and I've spotted some good ones. We can put up here some rare beauties up there.
Definitely got to clamber up there and dust them off, like, you know.
It's got to be done.
Because you got a lot of obviously that episode where you was up the loft, weren't we? You was like filming, showing the view, and but that was just the front. There's more at the back, isn't there?
Yeah, it's quite a lot.
And you got a lot of big box videos as well, like the original big box videos, you know.
Yeah, some beauties in there.
Yeah, look forward to selecting a few of those for discussion.
And if you're watching this, I've remembered to press record this week.
Oh, right, okay.
If you're not watching it, I've forgotten.
Yeah. So that's it.
Yeah. So
we ain't doing it again.
Nah. But even if I have forgotten, you won't know because you won't be watching this.
That's it. If they're not watching it, yeah.
So that's just something to think on. And yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Have a good week, and we'll see you in maybe a week's time or 2 weeks.
Couple of weeks time.
Whenever Gary can make it over again.
Couple of weeks time, and we'll try and cut down a little bit on the extreme stuff this time. Get back to some jokey stuff.
Yeah. A couple of horrors.
Yeah.
Something jovial like spit on her grave or something like that, you know. We don't like to be too extreme, do we?
No, I'd like to try and dig out a few something bit comedy every now and again, like a bit comedic, you know.
Yeah, like maybe a cartoon or something.
Yeah, could do. Yeah. Fritz the Cat again.
Red Fritz the Cat, but
yeah. Fritz the Cat, 9 Lives of Fritz the Cat. I think I got the first Fritz the Cat indoors. Might be able to dig that one out.
It's a couple, is it?
Yeah. The one we was talking about last week was the second one, the sequel.
It's the sequel, but it's impossible.
Yeah. Well, obviously it must have been such a huge success when it came out.
It was.
They decided to follow it up, you know.
All the old team got back together, done some more animation, you know. But so we're going to call it a night because I'm knackered,
we've just been watching the boxing. So
it's just been well done to have Chris Eubank, well deserved.
Something else that was. So
it was a good night of boxing, that.
Yeah, we're all worn out after watching that, aren't we?
Yeah, we are as well. But so we'll see you in a week or so's time. Thanks for watching, tuning in again, and have a good week. See you soon.
Cheers.